Barrie, how looks the meeting of science and religion in the time when you made the research in Turin, in Torino?
Okay. In 1978, when our team was coming together to plan our experiments and get the permission to come and examine the shroud, there was a big concern that the church or the king might want to control what we did. And many of the scientists were worried about this because many were not religious men who were wanting to do only good science, but did not want to deal with religious issues because the shroud was so controversial even then.
Yeah.
So one of the good things about 1978 was both the king and the authorities in Turin, the custodians, said that they would have no supervision of our work. They approved our tests. They stood back. They allowed us to keep the data that we gathered. This is the only reason I can sell or license the photographs, is because the king said we owned what data we collected. So, meaning I own these photographs, then now it belongs to our nonprofit, of course, but because I gave up the ownership to the nonprofit. But only because the king and the custodian said, no, we will not take your material. This is your material. And now the Vatican only recognizes the material from 1978 as official. Nothing after, nothing before.
Really?
Yes, this is amazing.
Oh.
And this is why I think, and in the future, if they do more testing, they will follow the same path
The same,
that the
so
team took. Experts from different disciplines, not all from one organization, different organizations, because if you have only one organization, it's possible to have agenda. You know, where you understand? But people from different organizations, impossible to have one agenda, only to do good science. So I'm very pleased that the people in Turin and the king understood that science must not have any interference. And so they gave us free hand to do the work that we had done. Remember, we documented everything in a plan in advance, 70 pages. So they recognized we were there to do only good science, not to make philosophic questions.
Just science.
Science. So I was very pleased, and I think in looking back now so many years ago, it showed that the king was a very wise man. To understand this and to say, no, you take the material, you make the photographs, you take the
You
samples.
are free. Your decision, I accept.
So I see that science and faith did this.
Yeah.
You know, they came together and did not interfere with each other and allowed us the freedom to do good science.
Oh, that's great. And that was years before John Paul II ideas.
Well, that's true. Although remember, this is an interesting story I say in my lectures. When we examined the shroud in 1978, there was no pope.
No pope. Yeah.
No pope.
This
John
few days
Paul
no
I,
pope. Yeah,
he died the night before we came to
Yeah.
Turin.
Yeah.
And they elected John Paul on the 16th, and we finished our work on the 12th or the 13th. So he was elected a few days after we finished. So while we examined the shroud, there was no pope.
Yeah.
And when I say this to the audience, they go, how is that possible? And I explain.
Yeah.
So John Paul, we were in Torino when we watched the smoke on television. We watched the white smoke come up, and John Paul II was elected.
Yeah.
So I was very close.
Yeah.
I was
to John. Yeah. But I'm afraid nobody from you knows who is Pope John Paul II, who is Karol Wojtyła.
Yes, of course, my brother Polish man. Because when we were in Krakow, we stood underneath his window where his office was.
Yeah, fantastic.